Okay. Hello, students. This is sort of a blogger series, right? Started by my students, and they have asked me to give you a set of answers of some questions, right? The first question that I will be taking today for everyone is basically how to study law optional. Law optional. Now, there are two category of people who will be taking law optional. If I am correct, the first is the law graduates, and second is basically non-law graduates. Okay. Now, for both of them, the studying strategy shall be different. Okay. Now, first let us discuss about law graduates. So, if you are law graduates, then how you should study this particular subject. Okay. Now, for you, the first thing that you have to understand that whatever you have studied in university, right, the syllabus of the law subject in UPSC is almost half of it. Okay. So, you need to practically go back to your syllabus itself. Okay. And take up all your notes which have been dictated, and as I have taught in some of the law colleges, mostly people don't go in class and they read some dukis or etc. Right? But ask for some good students who have actually attended the class and take the notes. Or better, if you don't have, skip it. Then go to second, that is study material, resource. If you don't have this, then you have to have a study material resource. Now, from where to get the study material resource? Obviously, there are multiple coaching. We have their notes, right? We also, Lukmaan IS also have their notes, right? But primarily speaking, the notes can be of two types. One, online available, and second is the offline resources that will include books as well. Okay. So, what I will suggest that don't go for online resources directly, only. Have some offline resources as well. Okay. Because online resources mostly are copy paste materials, right? And there are copyright violations, so mostly you won't find good online resources or the copy of the book directly online. Okay. Even if someone have it, sooner or later someone will file a complaint and ultimately it will be taken down. Okay. So for online resources, mainly go for current affairs. Okay. Current affair meaning if there is a legal article regarding some of the topic given in law optional, for that the online resources I think is the best resource, because in offline you won't find those materials. Okay. So for the contemporary development of the law, not for the contemporary legal development, that is a separate topic in itself in our exam that I will be discussing in the structure part. Okay. So simply the current affair of that particular topic, right? The philosophical aspect of that particular topic, right? For example, if there was a there was an amendment on Article 370 recently. So you must have seen the multiple law article written on that, right? So pick and choose few of them and save it. Better make it a PDF and save it. Now for the offline resources, you need two things basically. One is the books and second is the notes. Right? Now you might wonder why we are talking about these both. Because whatever the book is available in the market, those books are not available as specific to the UPSC syllabus. Meaning, you have to write some of the chapters of those books that is relevant for your syllabus. So it is better to take multiple books. I will be talking in different video only about books, that which books you should prefer, right? So that is not the scope of this video. But still, the notes, you make it from those books, only the specific chapter which matches your particular topic, right? I will be talking about books and specific chapters also in different video. Okay. So this is not I am discussing here, but do remember that you have to actually purchase around 7 books, okay, for different laws. But in those 7, only few of them actually chapters is needed, right? So rest of them is practically a wastage for this purpose, but still you can purchase, because no one sells you few chapters of the book, right? But obviously you can, 2-3 students can buy together, and that is one of the way to save money. So this is all about the preparation strategy for the purpose of law student, right? Those who are law graduates. Okay. So these 2 steps you should follow, and these 2 are the major question actually. Now as to the study of how much hour you should study this, right? This question generally students ask me, right? So that actually, very different, right? That depends on what is your capacity to understand, right? How far, yeah, there are some students who do not like to study once, they study different subjects so that their mood is better, something like that. So that is very personal, right? So that you decide by yourself. That obviously I am not going to discuss. Now, for the purpose of non-law student, okay? Now, how do they have to start with the study? The first thing I will suggest to them to look at the previous year questions. Previous year questions, okay? Have a feel that, okay, whether you will be able to answer those questions or not, right? Especially look paper 1 questions, right? Because paper 1 questions you might find familiar because it is a polity question, and see that whether you will be able to answer generally it or not, okay? Then you go for books. I'm not suggesting you to go for online resources first, because ultimately you are not a law background students. So simply directly reading the notes might not be very helpful. So you should have a foundational understanding of the different topics. Okay, only polity is not the whole law. Okay, so please understand that, because mostly people come from non-law background, they are fascinated by law due to polity, study of polity. However, that is a good thing. Myself also is fascinated by law due to polity. Polity is a great subject. Okay, then I will suggest that you make notes from book by yourself. Okay, do it by yourself. The reason I am saying by yourself, they can again take the notes of other students and do it, right? But you have to take notes, make notes by yourself, because while making notes, every student have a different perspective. They might hear a argument in a class and they can jot it down in 2 and 3 lines, right? Which you might not be able to understand. Okay, but those who have already a foundational in law, a foundational background in law, they will be able to understand those notes prepared by students, but you won't. So better that you write notes by yourself. Okay, then you will reach to their level. Now for both of you, a very common strategy once you have completed your respective task is basically writing answers. Writing answers. Okay, that how to write answers, right? For that I will have a separate video, because it is a very lengthy task to understand how do you write answers. Now if you have any problem, right, any questions if you think regarding a strategy apart from these, I will be able to help you if you will ask me. So that will be all for this particular question. Thank you.